Remember, folks, I'm just a Muppet in a chair. Don't take me seriously. Hey, what's happening, Boomerites? Hope you're having a good day. All right, it's hot out there, folks, as you can tell by clicking on this reaction. Down here where I live, I don't think it's a secret, I live in the wonderful state of Florida, which is notorious for Florida man, but it's also notorious for hot weather. And currently, we are experiencing the hottest summer in Florida probably for generations. It is so hot right now. I love the heat, but even this summer, it's like, wow, it's really getting uncomfortable at times. But I've noticed over the past, couple of years since I've been doing this channel that a lot of you guys over there in the UK have been talking about the heat waves that you experience over there. It seems like every time it's this time of year, summertime, a lot of you guys drop a comment here and there like, wow, it's super hot over here in this heat wave. And it got me curious, so I'm going to be reacting to this video. It's called Why 25 Degrees Really Is Hot in the UK. The original video is by ABC News In Depth. It says it's an Australian public broadcast service, so Australia's doing a video on the heat waves in the UK, I guess. But anyway, I'll leave a link in the description below for the original video and the ABC News channel, if you guys want to check those out. But heat waves, man, you guys have been warning me about the heat waves in the UK for 2 years now. And, of course, 25 degrees, it probably means Celsius over there, which I'm not too familiar with. Anytime somebody throws a Celsius figure at me, I'm immediately like, what is that? But I do know 100 is boiling and 0 is freezing temperatures. So I think, I could be wrong because I'm a Muppet. But let's find out. I'm curious. I want to get a little insight to the heat waves over there. So hopefully this is a good video to react to. Now remember to like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want. And if you hit the notification bell, it'll let you know whenever a video drops on this channel, alright? So let's learn some things across the Atlantic. Here we go.
Now, with the continuing high temperatures in London,
Londoners are looking for relief from the stifling conditions.
Little hate it, the current heat wave doesn't come without problem.
When the UK struggles through a heat wave, temperatures over there can get as high as the mid-30s. For someone like me who deals with this weather for winter, that doesn't sound like much. So do the Brits just need to toughen up? I mean, we've got roads melting.
Oh my god, look at that!
We're all used to different climates, yes, but there's more winter. That doesn't sound like much. So do the Brits just need to toughen up? I mean, we've got roads.
The road's melting! I've never even seen that here. We get the hottest weather in the States, other than maybe the southwest of the United States in the desert.
It's melting here in our summers. We're all used to different climates, yes, but there's more to it than that.
I love that. I love how they're warning Americans who are watching this video. This video will be using Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Apologies for any inconvenience. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what 30 degrees Celsius is in Fahrenheit. I'm sure some of you guys can enlighten me. But yeah, a lot of the Celsius figures go right over my head.
For starters, a heat wave is relative.
Wait a minute. Sorry for pausing so much. Keep going. Keep going. That Fahrenheit. So we're the only ones who use it, except for there's one country in Central America and one island in the Caribbean. Which island is that? God, I need to take geography classes again.
For starters, a heat wave is relative. Basically, it's different depending on where you are. The World Meteorological Organization loosely defines it as more than 5 consecutive days of temperatures exceeding the average max by 5 degrees Celsius. So in the UK, it averages about 20 degrees over the summer months, whereas in Australia, it averages about 30 degrees. This means it doesn't take as high a temperature to trigger a heatwave in the UK. If we look at other cities, in Toronto, their summers are about 25 degrees. A heatwave there is 3 consecutive days over 32 degrees. And in India, with temperatures around 35 degrees, they wouldn't call a heatwave unless the air temperature reached at least 40 degrees in plains regions. So in Australia and other countries with high summer temperatures, our buildings are built to keep as cool as possible. The concept
You guys
is
have told
nothing
me
new.
that, yeah.
It's called vernacular architecture, where buildings are designed based on local needs, materials, and traditions. Take a look at this house. This is a Queenslander found in, well, Queensland. They're built out of timber and on stumps. The space underneath the house helps cool the building through ventilation. There's always a wide veranda for shading and protection from heavy rains, and a corrugated iron roof which is lightweight and durable. And there are plenty of other examples of this type of building for your environment from around the world. This is a house from the Asir province of Saudi Arabia, where the temperature is moderate but it rains often. The protruding slates cascade rain away from the clay walls. In the Philippines, Bahay Kubo huts are built with bamboo, with sufficient ventilation for the hot summer, and raised above the ground to protect against torrential flooding.
I don't know jack shit about architecture. Nothing. I don't know anything about architecture. But for some reason, I always find it fascinating. One, how buildings are designed, even when you completely simplify it for a Muppet like me, who doesn't understand architecture. And then two, actually, like, going around and seeing, even here in the United States, all the buildings and houses in Florida are much different from somewhere like Pennsylvania. You know, I just find it very fascinating, even though I don't know anything about architecture. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but
The igloos of the Inuits, rondavels in Africa, and gears in Mongolia. You get the idea. And along with this, there's plenty of other architectural choices made to respond to the environment.
oh wow.
Our public spaces include plenty of shaded areas and sufficient ventilation. Not to mention, the majority of the population, about 85%, lives within 50 kilometres of the coastline, where all the major cities have developed. Meaning that even in summer, we'd get a nice sea breeze to help cool down the hot air temperature. But over on the other side of the world, it's not that easy.
Keep yourself cool, drink plenty of fluids, keep out of the direct sun in the heat of the day, and also keep your home as cool as you're able to by using curtains, keeping windows open at night and so on.
Did you notice something he didn't mention? Air conditioning is not really a thing in the UK. Offices and shopping centres are more likely to have them, but they're not a given the way they'd be here in Australia. And
Didn't you get? I remember a couple comments about the air conditioning in the UK. Didn't you guys tell me that the air conditioning units that you guys do have over there are designed? Most of them are designed to warm up the house for the colder seasons. Because if that's the case, yeah, when it's when you got heat waves, you may not have much to make the house cool. But maybe she'll tell me something about that.
in other hotter climates, they're just not needed. That's because, like how Australian houses are built to keep cool, in the UK and other colder climates, everything is designed to keep the heat in. There aren't many overhanging eaves or awnings or shaded outdoor areas, and most windows are double glazed so that the temperature inside buildings stays as warm as possible during cold winters.
It's interesting.
Public transport is another big one. The tube is notorious for its lack of ventilation, which means the heat generated from the trains can't escape the underground system very easily. This is fine for an English summer most of the time, but as soon as the mercury starts rising, it becomes a bit unbearable. Rest assured, aircon is coming to the central line, but in 2030. So
Oh, no.
A few years to go then. This is all well and good for part of the year.
That's 7
but
years
on the
too
flip
late.
Side, when it gets cold in Australia, you really feel it. Yes, even if you're from a place where sub-zero temperatures is normal. Because the houses are designed to perform well in summer, buildings don't really retain much heat. Even though the winter months aren't as cold with averages of about 5 degrees, most houses aren't properly insulated. The large eaves that give you welcome shade in the summer stops that same sunshine from entering in the winter. And of course, the British homes, which heat up during the summer, stay nice and warm during the cold winter months. So the actual infrastructure of a city can help the temperature feel hotter or cooler than it actually is. But depending on how long we've lived in a city, our physiology can also affect the way we react to certain temperatures. It's called acclimatization, and it's our body's long-term response to extreme temperatures. So it's not just about sweating when it's hot. It's how our bodies decide when we sweat, how much we sweat, our tendency to sweat, and even the amount of salt in our sweat. It only takes about 2 weeks for a healthy body to acclimatize, depending on different factors. And
I call bullshit on that. It took, I'm from a more temperate climate, and I never got used to the cold. Never. I never got used to it.
And it's faster to adapt to heat than to cold. If you're used to a certain range of temperatures, anything outside of that range would feel uncomfortable to you. So both acclimatization and our city's infrastructure affects the way we feel temperature. And while we might think we're good at certain extremes, we could be proven otherwise. So next time you see this, or this, maybe don't be so quick to judge. I'll put some links down below to some sites which will help you build or improve your...
Little shade at the end there. There's some shade at you guys at the end there. Interesting video, though. So thank you, ABC News from Australia. That was educational. But yeah, it gives me a little insights on the reason why the heat waves are so unbearable over there. And I've, from personal experience going into my videos, checking out comments, I've seen you guys complain in person about how hot it is. Sometimes when it has nothing to do with whatever reaction video I'm doing at the moment. So, shout out to you guys for being so tough and dealing with that. But yeah, the architecture is a big explanation, and the AC units. So that's probably the most interesting thing, is the architecture. Like I said, I don't know jack shit about architecture, but it's always interesting to see how different the buildings are when you go from place to place, even here in the United States. The houses you see in Florida are going to be different from somewhere in like New York. Not just the city, but New York State. Or even, you know, where I'm from, Maryland. If you travel from Maryland and then end up in, you know, Missouri, the houses in Missouri are going to look different. But often you don't think about that. There's a method to how these homes were built. Thinking of, you know, the effects that weather has on not just the architecture but the people. But very interesting video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. If you guys are suffering through another heat wave at the moment, hang in there. You'll be okay. I guess it'd be interesting if whenever we get around to it. But if we travel to the UK, it would be interesting to see, if we traveled there in the summertime, to see if we think that it is hotter over there in, say, August than it would be here in Florida. Because I'll tell you from personal experience, I feel like the summers are hotter in Maryland than they are in Florida, believe it or not. And maybe it has some of the same reasons as you guys have compared to Australia, you know? The architecture is different. It's designed to keep the heat in, which I'm sure Maryland homes are like that, because the Maryland homes are nothing like the homes here. Actually, most of the homes here in Florida, you'll be lucky to have a second floor. Most everything is on the ground level, believe it or not. Not always, but most of the time. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, do whatever you want, and hang in there. Hose yourself down if you have to, all right? Because your king is thinking about you. All right, peace out, Boomerites.